Welcome to Investors Insights, episode number 183. Today we will be discussing, can markets determine the debate winner? Don't forget to connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We'd like to continue the discussion there. So let's get right to the topics that are important to today's investors.
You're listening to Investors Insights with Greg Powell and the Portfolio Strategy team from Five Plan Partners.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Greg.
Thoroughly enjoyed this morning's meeting, the discussion that went back and forth. Tonight is historic with the presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I think all eyes and ears will be watching and listening to that debate. In our discussions this morning, though, really loved some of the data you pulled together. Trey, I'm going to start with you.
Sure.
Talk about how debates can impact markets.
Sure. So what we're going to be watching for tomorrow is how does the market perceive who won the debate? So, for example, if it's perceived that Hillary won the debate, then we should expect the overall market to be higher. Specifically, you're looking at hospitals, Medicaid, HMOs, the infrastructure companies.
So
and
sectors can be...
Right, those specific sectors, alternative energy, these sectors that will benefit from her policies. For a Trump win, if the market says Trump wins, you'll probably see the overall market trade back, but specifically, you'll probably see defense trade up. Biotech should do the best of all of them. We've seen biotechs trade down as Hillary's improved. And then you look for large financials. I think we all watched Elizabeth Warren against Wells Fargo last week. Probably didn't make large financials terribly excited about a Clinton White House.
Sure.
So, how the market reacts could dictate who is perceived to have won and who's going to come out. What's also interesting is typically when the incumbent party loses, which would be the Democrats losing, the market starts to trade down in October. Up until then, the market trades up no matter who wins. But then starting in October, you see if the incumbent party is going to win, you see the markets continue to go up. If the incumbent party looks like they're going to lose, you start seeing things trade down. And that's just really the shifting of the deck chair, seeing from one area of the market doing well to another. People are moving their money around.
Yeah, well, change.
Yeah, a lot of volatility.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Bobby, you brought up some points in regards to, got a lot of talking going on this week in addition to the presidential debates, and then also just kind of combinations of Republicans and Democrats. Talk about that.
Partisan politics. So, now with the first debate being here, the market really starts to pay attention. Interesting poll came out over the weekend that 50% of U.S. voters are waiting to figure out who they're going to vote for after the first debate. So a lot on the line here, first debate. Also, a lot of the conversation we have with clients revolves around what happens if there's a Republican candidate, Republican president, Republican Congress, Democratic. And so let's talk about that. So going back to 1933, no guarantees here, just historical data, that when there's a Republican Congress, Republican president, the market performs best, annualized 15.1%. The next scenario, and this is actually a scenario that is looking likely here, is that there's a Democratic Senate, Republican House, Democratic president. Average return is 13.6%, and then Republican Congress, Democratic president, like we've had the past few years, is 13.3%. So it really just depends. We'll watch that carefully, but that's one of the questions that we've been getting from
it's historical data. There's no guarantee, but it's interesting to analyze it and look at it.
Definitely. So the down ballot races, not just the top of the ticket, is important.
Yeah, and as we get on into the whole presidential debates and elections, people will be watching to see where they think Congress is headed in terms of House and Senate. Right. That'll be a whole nother conversation. And then, Ashley, you brought up several points on things people need to be listening to in the debate.
Yes.
Talk just about one of them that you think is a topic that if they hear a candidate bring this up, they need to pay attention. There's a lot of shiny objects out there that have come up in this discussions of the upcoming presidential debate. Right. But you know what? We've got a lot of hardcore issues that need to be addressed that can impact our clients' portfolios.
That's correct.
Bring up one of those topics.
The deficit is the key one, because if you look historically, whoever wins the debate and whoever goes on to be president, they're going to deal with the worst deficit we've seen in the United States since Harry Truman went out of the White House at the end of World War II.
I thought it was an excellent point.
So bottom line of it is, whether you want to cut taxes or whether you want to spend, or you're like Ronald Reagan, you want to do a little bit of both, you're not going to have a lot of room.
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact the entitlement is much larger, the debt in and of itself is larger. The only thing that's saving us right now is the interest rate on the debt is low. Trey brought up a good point this morning. A lot of that debt matures in the next 3 years. So when you face the deficit and you're trying to spend something, cut taxes, even in a growing economy, you got a problem, not to mention the fact that if you got a recession in there somewhere, you've really got an issue. So watch for the deficit, and their discussions thereof is a major point.
Yeah, and that's a point we will also make. We're looking at the different topics that we need to see a candidate pick up on that really make a difference. There's a lot of things they can debate, but what are the ones that really make a difference to the markets, to the economy, to job creation, those kind of things. So on that note, as you watch the presidential debate tonight, hopefully we've given you some really good information, and just know we're going to keep you updated and continue to emphasize things that we feel like are going to impact the markets